Oh man. Alicia. Why is my stream deck not working? Hold up. Guys, the answer to the question, are we all terrorists? Is a resounding yes. I'm kidding. We're not terrorists. We're not. Don't worry about it. All right. There's a good amount of stuff to cover. I'm going to be streaming for probably about an hour or so. No, not more than that. I don't like how much light is reflecting off my floor. This light here is like bouncing. 1 second. It's bouncing off my floor, which is weird. There we go. That's better. Oh. My back hurts so much, guys. So I'm gonna be shifty. Also, what's happening with my stream deck? Please work. Yeah, it is good lighting, but it's way too bright on the side of my face. Who? I'm gonna catch these goddamn hands. Hell no. Dox him. Just kidding. Don't dox him. But expose his ass. Jesus Christ, Cole. Fuck you. It's my message for Cole. Yeah, no, that's not good at all. You should not be getting harassed by people named Cole. Or harassed in general. Especially if they're named Cole, though. Sorry that I text and drive. Yeah, I mean, report him if reporting will even do anything. Guys, I wish I could get chat on my stream. I wish I knew how to do that. I can't like when I pop out the chat. Oh man, bummer. All right. My brother is singing. If you hear my brother singing, I'm so sorry. I'm very confused on why my stream deck won't work. Dylan. All right. Where do we start? So, yesterday, Trump decided to start caring about the black community, or at least is pretending to. And his master plan is to, it's unclear. I haven't found any like genuine like answers to what this plan entails. But it looks like it's because they're not up. I went to Trump's like website. I went to his campaign, whatever. But I found nothing that says what he's planning on doing. So what has been released, there's like an hour-long like conference talk at a Black Voices for Trump rally in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a hair on my microphone. I have multiple hairs on my microphone. Hello. And it was pretty yikes, honestly. It was not that great. He kept saying What do black people have to lose? You know, the the normal racist stuff. But he like what's annoying is that he's right about the fact that Democrats don't do much actively to try to get the black vote because they just rely on it already being in their favor. And that is not wrong. Democrats do, in fact, do that.
I'd watch him carry that ball, but, you know, I think he'd do just as well as a senator or a governor. We're going to have to start talking to him about that. He's a fantastic person, great man. I'm honored to be back in the heart
I haven't watched
Georgia
this entire
with the
thing yet.
truly incredible organization, Black Voices for Trump, and we appreciate it. In 39 days, we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And we will do it with...
I saw a thing that's like, it claimed to be like in his plans on his website, and I went through his entire website and found nothing.
A record number of votes from the black community. We have no doubt. That's all happening. That's all happening. We're getting a lot of... See the people back there, they're saying, what's going on over here? They not want to take the black voter for granted, and they have taken the black voter.
Like, that's true. They have taken the black voter for granted.
And it's not fair, it's not right, and it's not going to happen because we're going to have such a victory like you've never had before.
That makes no sense. I don't know what he just said. It's not fair. It's not going to happen. We're going to have such a victory like never before. I think I found a way, guys, 1 second, to get the chat on screen. Yeah, so basically all the information that currently exists on this is $500 billion in capital for black communities as he seeks to court the bloc ahead of November's national election. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys this, but this is simply God, what's it fucking called? Just trying to get black voters. Duh, he has an election. If he cared about black communities, he honestly wouldn't have gentrified them with his opportunity zones. Like, he does not, spoiler alert, actually like black people, because he is a conservative. So he wants to vote, but what I'm speculating, and this is a TikTok I made a while back. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask to see if one second, I'm gonna add a source. It's gonna be a media source or display capture browser source, I think. Yeah. One second, I'm gonna talk about my speculations with this very soon. URL. The URL, I want to use this. Damn. Oh, wow. This kind of looks bad, but it's okay. Yo, thoughts on this? You guys like this? Like, for real. Is this cool? Does this look good? Maybe, no, I can't make it taller. Hold up. Damn it. What? It's cool. Look, guys. It's like professional. Fuck. Maybe not that. Is chat still behind ours? No. Your chat is updated. It's just streaming it up here. All right. Well, fuck you guys. I won't do this. I try to do nice things for you, and you're not grateful. It's whatever. Just delete it. God. All right, let's get to the conspiracy theories that I have. I believe that this move is simply to delegitimize the current protests against systemic racism and police brutality. Because in committing $500 billion to black communities, which we have no idea if that's actually going to happen, because he also committed $500 billion in COVID relief back in March, which did nothing and really just helped him and his rich friends get richer. So, like, I don't know, I have trust issues with this specific number, this big number, 500 billion. And I think most reasonable people would, because he's a politician and he's also a bigger liar than any other politician that I think we've seen in a while. He's very disingenuous. I don't fucking know. And it's not going to go well. And he has no lips, and his eyes look like his mouth. So, never trust a man with no lips and mouth eyes. So, how does this delegitimize a movement? Well, it makes it seem like what you're protesting doesn't exist. And why would you be protesting Trump if he just did something about it? Even though the things he did are not direct action, they haven't happened yet. He doesn't have the authority to do the things he wants to do. And it won't have any significant impact on, or direct impact. I'm sure, yes, it's good to have, obviously it's good to be, it's like a good thing to allow a greater access to more capital in black communities. No one's disputing that. But I truly believe he did it so he can get away with where's the scary part. This also call for the prosecution of the Ku Klux Klan and Antifa as terrorist organizations. So this is not right, because you can't do this. Legally, there is no domestic terrorism statute for such a plan to be actualized. But what it does do is it equates Antifa to the same level of violence and because the KKK is notoriously and widely known as a bad thing. Antifa isn't, because it's just people who don't like terrorism. But he's trying his darndest to make it appear like it is a bad thing. So first, it equates the two, makes them equal in the eyes of the general public who don't take time to do research. And second, it delegitimizes their calls to action to end systemic racism. So now, because in the general public it doesn't seem like it is a issue, it doesn't seem like their calls for change are have any valid reasoning behind it, because, well, look at that, he gave $500 billion to black people. He must not be racist, and why would you protest him if he's helping out the black community? I thought, like, do you guys want to help out the black community? Blah, blah, blah. Also, one thing I love about this is that he pledges higher standards for policing, which to anyone on the left would be like, oh, so you like end qualified immunity, you'd hold like the actual police to higher standards for their contact, but I'm pretty sure he just means like bigger guns and more like military gear. And also he like basically it feels like he like code switches when he's talking to his black supporters versus his white supporters, which is scary and very fascistic. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not sharing my chat on screen. Another fucking Alicia, you are like popping off right now with the dudes. I'm proud of you. You guys are never talking about anything that I'm talking about in chat. Not once. You guys are discussing bras. Anyways, back to terrorism and anti-fascists. It is it is wild to try to equate these two groups, the KKK and terrorism, and I will kind of walk you through something that I found. This is called Guide to the Analysis of an Insurgency. God damn it, my fucking thing is broken. I forgot. Okay. This is made by the United States government. I've discussed this before on stream, and how there is literally a guide to understanding how insurgencies work, what they do, how to fight them, and how to defeat them. Normally, this manual is written from the perspective of defeating insurgencies in other countries, because in America we haven't had real insurgency groups trying to claim power. So, first of all, the definition of terrorism in the the American legal definition of terrorism, or Title II, Chapter 38, Code 2656F, is premeditated, politically motivated violence perpetrated against non-combatant targets by subnational groups or clandestine agents, which just is not what Antifa is. It's never premeditated. And they tried to say it was premeditated. Do you guys remember the U-Haul truck video? It's like a video of someone like pulling out like defund the police signs from like a U-Haul truck, which is like $25 to rent, or like $50 to rent. And the conservative Twitter was like, "Oh, who's funding this? Who's funding these well-funded, well-organized Antifa protesters?" Like, it's stupid because they're not well-organized at all. They're not premeditated. What was premeditated was the announcement by Louisville police to declare a state of emergency, which kind of preempted the public to be like, "Oh, this is going to be bad news. Breonna Taylor won't get justice. I guess we're going to protest this too, because why the fuck else? What else would they do? There's no other options but to protest." So, Antifa's not premeditated. It does not target civilians. It's not a terrorist group. So, however, the KKK and their lynchings and their old lynchings is a terrorist group because they are premeditated. They do have a strict hierarchy. They're very well organized, and they do, in fact, target civilians. That's what a lynching is. In addition, the KKK is not only just like a group of people in clown costumes or ghost costumes that go around lynching the first black people they see. They act as they view themselves as, or historically they have viewed themselves as, an extra branch of government that is required to keep black people down. In that sense, they are very close to the police. Okay. I want to go through this because I find it very interesting, and how their definition of an insurgency the United States definition of insurgency and how to deal with it is so Jesus Christ, my train of thought. Allie, shut up. Stop being mean. So here also I'm gonna start this section by saying my assumptions is that the United States really, and Donald Trump really wishes that Antifa and that the left and socialists and communists were well organized and well funded, and that they were an insurgency. So when they react to the quote insurgency that is Antifa and the terrorist group that is Antifa, they're reacting as if they are terrorist groups and they are insurgency groups, in the hopes that they become insurgency groups so then they can fucking kill us. And I'll read through this and I think you'll see why I believe that. All right, insurgency is a protracted political military struggle directed towards subverting or displacing the legitimacy of a constituted government, or occupying power and completely or partially controlling the resource of a territory through the use of irregular military forces and illegal political organizations. The common denominator for most insurgent groups is their objective of gaining control of a population or a particular territory, including its resources. So, historically, the Patriots, like the United States Patriots, who were fighting against the Crown, that was an insurgency group using guerrilla warfare, creating state militias, etc., etc. Also, so is ISIS. So you can see how it really is from your point of view whether or not an insurgency is a good thing or a bad thing, because undoubtedly there are people on the left who want the left to be more military and guerrilla warfare-esque and whatnot. But I do not believe we are anywhere near there. Happy early birthday. All right. A counterinsurgency. The United States government, obviously, frequently referred to COIN, is a combination of measures undertaken by a government to defeat an insurgency. Political, security, legal, economic deployment. Security, wait. I was going to say something about this. Insurgency integrates and synchronizes political, security, then guerrilla warfare, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is interesting. A militia is a body of armed fighters whose representing specific ethnic, religious, tribal, clan, or other communal groups or political parties. They may serve the government directly or indirectly, operate independently to combat other militias or insurgent groups, pursue criminal activity, or support an insurgency. You know what is a genuine militia? The Proud Boys. The Proud Boys are a militia. They work outside of the law, protected by the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment gives you the right to a militia. And they work indirectly and sometimes directly with the government to suppress the non-insurgency Antifa, which isn't an insurgency. It's just a group of people who come together organically because they don't like fascism. This is the definition of terrorism. Talked about that. Most insurgent groups use terrorist tactics. The left has done, quote, terrorism before, but they don't do the terrorism that we see ISIS do. The left specializes in eco-terrorism. What the fuck are even Proud Boys? Oh, I'm going to get to that. We're talking about Proud Boys later. And you'll see what I mean. The left does eco-terrorism, which is like attacking and damaging property. And the right does genuine terrorism, like ISIS is a far-right terrorist group. And they do harm against civilians, and they are politically motivated, violent, perpetrated against non-combatant targets. That is the right. That's how they do terrorism. The left does not do terrorism to the same extent. modern left does not do that type of terrorism. They will destroy a dairy farm or something, you know? All right. The guide uses the term the government to describe the authority against which insurgencies. Okay. Common characteristics. This is interesting, to me at least. Insurgency is a violent political struggle for control of people and resources. Take, for instance, the American Patriots wanting to control the resources that they were making and not pay fat-ass taxes. Common objectives to undermine the legitimacy of a government and bolster their own standing with the population. They seek to undercut the ability of the government to provide the population security and public services, including utilities, education, and justice. So this is what I mean by the current government, the Trump administration, and people on the right are trying to paint the left as an insurgency group because of saying, oh, they're trying to defund the police. That means they're undercutting the ability of the government to provide the population with security, which is not what they're doing. Obviously, they're trying to make it so the population is more secure. Guys, stop calling me boring. I'm going to ban you. Obtain the active or passive support of the population, blah, 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 blah. The left tries to get the support of the population through empathy and less fear. The right tries to deny support for the left by using fear. Now, this is interesting. Provoke the government into committing abuses that drive neutral civilians towards the insurgents and solidify the loyalty of the insurgent supporters. This, I believe, is kind of happening. Because of this right here. I missed it. Where'd it go? It says how to respond to insurgency. Oh, this is just how they categorize them. So revolutionary, reformist. Currently, the left is just reformist. And then we do have some revolutionary people on the left. It's 13 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Sorry, I put myself on mute. I forgot. All right. Government reactions. So this is a productive government response. Efforts to undermine the insurgents' attempts to establish a group identity. The government may choose to reinforce a national identity and patriotism by emphasizing shared history, cultural, and traditions, or the government may attempt to further divide the subgroup using alternate identities such as tribe. Okay, so the United States is not actively trying to use productive responses. The way they're using national identity not to tell people on the left, hey, like, we're all American, let's come together and fix this problem together. They're doing it to be like, oh, you're anti-American, and they're using national identity and patriotism and nationalism to empower the right to fight against anti-fascists. Efforts to address grievance through political, economic, or legal reform. Literally not doing that except for Trump's bill recently, which we'll see how that plays out. Efforts to shore up moderate opposition. Security forces. So this is how a counterproductive one would go. Employ extrajudicial means such as unlawful detentions or death squads. Remember when Trump sent the United States Department of Homeland Security to detain protesters? That is what is going on. Target members of subgroups, thereby reinforcing the identity as us versus them. 100% they're doing that. Target all opposition and legal moderate oppositions through the easiest targets, thereby making the insurgency the only viable alternate to the government. I guess, in a way, but that's more a political attack on Joe Biden. So they're just attempting, Trump is attempting to make Antifa a terrorist group so that he can use anti-terrorist tactics on us, which is super scary. If you're in America and don't like fascism and are openly against it, like I am, be safe. It's not great. It was my sister who wanted to offer me a poster. I can get a mullet. I just don't want a mullet. Okay, so that's an insurgency. Also, I skipped over this, but they usually require very strict hierarchy, such as the KKK. Now let's talk about the Proud Boys. So currently, in Portland, there is a Proud Boys protest, which is planned just a few miles away from a anti-racist festival, and it's not good. Here is a very impressive thread that we can just go through that I found. Oh man. Led by Unite the Right attendee Latinos for Trump director and former InfoWars reporter, the Proud Boys are holding protests in Portland today. They claim will be, quote, a powder keg. Blah, 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 blah. So this is them. They seem nice. The Proud Boys have always been advocating for violence. Here are, I don't know what website this is on, probably like 8chan. They thought the 22nd was rough. The 26th will be tenfold. This is him. This is this guy. Think the riots are bad now. You don't even know what's coming next. Next week will be a powder keg. Antifa is in for a bad time if Leo or the National Guard doesn't show up September the 26th. So Portland declared a state of emergency because of this, obviously. And the state of emergency will allow Portland to use their like state power against the Proud Boys, which is very good. We want the Proud Boys to be fighting against the state, not against us. The Proud Boys, we want them to fucking not be a thing. Yeah, no, this is really, really scary. And it's like happening now. I really hope it ends out okay. A Proud Boys led by Enrique Tarrio, who marched in Charlottesville as a member of the Proud Boys military wing, a district of Latinos for Trump, are planning to hold a rally today in Portland to quote, end Antifa. This guy. Very bad news. Has joined the organization of the Portland rally by Joe and Bo Biggs, and according to MFA, is encouraging date rape, punching trans people, and also posing as a journalist at InfoWars. He's known for punching trans people. And other Proud Boy leaders revived visits from the FBI. Received visits from the FBI before an August 29th rally in Portland, also against anti-fascists because of numerous threats on social media to murder and injure people. Yeah, they do this a lot. All the Proud Boys are not white nationalists. They do not want to form an all-new white state, but they do embrace the conservatism of Pat, who books Death of the West. Yeah, so they are white nationalists. Like, they're just trying to be like, no, we're not. In half a lifetime, many Americans have seen their God dethroned, their heroes defiled, their culture polluted, their values assaulted, their country invaded, and themselves demonized as extremists and bigots for holding beliefs in Americans have held for generations. So this is what is super scary. Like, when people say mask off, like, they mean when we watch PragerU videos, you know, we see the shit like all the time being like, they're invading, they want to ruin our culture or some stuff like that, just like lighter terms. So someone who says that could literally be one of these guys, or they could just believe that and don't realize that it will lead to this. So this guy could just claim being like, oh, I feel like our heroes are being defiled, and we wouldn't know that he's like famous for punching trans people, you know. Except one of this guy's advisors was directly involved in white nationalist think tanks and groups. So, you know, it's like not good all around, super bad. I really hope it goes well. It's wild that these people are right. Yeah. The biggest fucking yikes ever, dude. Oh. Alicia, what's going on? Alicia, holy shit. Yeah, please stay safe. I'm so sorry. Wait, Alicia, did you do that? He's not in college or unemployed. Just tell his mom. Wow. Damn, Alicia. Nice. Fucking badass. Anyways, if you don't believe that...
But hey, let me tell you, these are the real type of Proud Boys. 1488 type Proud Boys. Proud to be white Proud Boys. Goddamn right. These aren't no faggots. No Marxism, white power. These aren't faggots. Do you know the 14 words, sir? We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Woo! Hell yeah.
You know what? Alt-lighters like me, quote unquote, are fucking like your biggest fucking allies.
Yeah, anyways. Big yikes. Big yikes. Alright. Fuck. Yeah, any violence done by the white Proud Boys is premeditated. E.g., they are a terrorist group. I'm really trying to get the message out here that the Proud Boys are not good, and I think it's going a lot better this time, because there have been other times where a lot of people on Twitter were defending the Proud Boys. Except people on the right will still. All right. Fuck, my back hurts a lot. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. You guys have gone through it in my chat. God damn. I don't understand rape culture. It's so sad. It's so sad. The level of insecurity. It's like a cycle that will not that is rooted in insecurity that cannot be fixed without, and that's an annoying thing because you can't be like, oh, you can't. It's like the same way when dealing with like allies who are like trying to be anti-racist, you always have to make them like feel good and be like, hey, like give them validation, right? And you don't want to do that when people are like being taught to like that rape is okay and whatnot. Like you don't want to be doing that. That's a shitty because it shouldn't be okay and they shouldn't be given that benefit of any attention. So the way to get around that and the way to deal with it, I feel like, without giving them like the undeserved validation, is to be like just really young, is to teach people is to two things: build confidence in the people like his mom who said like his mom was like, oh, you deserved it. Build confidence in those women, and then build confidence in men and show men that and boys that success does not equal, or domination of anything does not equal success. I need to pee. I won't even lie. Except I'm afraid to pee because you're going to roast me for my hand washing routine, which is more than efficient. Alright, peace out. You guys are the fucking worst. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. What do we want to watch? What do we want to watch? I'm tired of PragerU. I got so many recommendations for PragerU vids. They have 375 five-minute videos. Jesus. Let's just scroll down, pick a random one. Guys, I think I have a fun one.
When people describe particularly...
I think I have a fun one. Sorry. Is this better? Okay. Yes. Sorry guys, is this better? Do we wanna... Let's just watch a PragerU video together. Come on, it'll be fun. Let's watch just one PragerU video, guys. Okay. Is that cool? Are we okay with that? Okay. Alright. Jesus Christ, I disinfect my phone all the time. We have a little like UV disinfectant thing.
Evil individuals or regimes? Why is it that they use the terms Nazi or fascist?
Because Nazis and fascists believe in a strict hierarchy that requires people to be killed in order to keep their ethno-state.
But almost never communist.
Because communists just don't believe in that same type of hierarchy and don't require murdering innocent civilians to keep their power and ethno-state.
Given the unparalleled amount of human suffering communists have caused, why is communist so much less a term of revulsion than Nazi?
This is like really just trying to defend Nazis.
Communists killed 70 million people in China, more than
Source.
20 million people in the Soviet Union.
I thought it was 100 million people. I'm so confused. Also source.
Not including about 5 million Ukrainians.
Source.
And almost 1 out of every 3 Cambodians.
Source.
And communists enslaved entire nations.
What does that even mean, enslaved entire nations? Wait, what does that mean? No, they didn't.
In Russia, Vietnam, China, Eastern Europe, North Korea, Cuba, and much of Central Asia. They ruined the lives of well over 1 billion people.
Source? Oh, man.
So why doesn't communism have the same...
I'm so interested to see his reason for it, but also all of this is not true. And also putting these statistics that have been debunked in a vacuum and not comparing them to the required human suffering of capitalism is so funny. Because capitalism requires people to suffer and people to be, you always need to have someone lower than you. Always. Capitalists, Karl Marx rightfully believes that there are only 2 classes. The middle class doesn't exist. He believes that there are only 2 classes, the workers and the employers, the proletariats, the bourgeoisie. But what capitalists have done is create a middle class to try to incentivize people to continue working for a slave wage.
Same terrible reputation as Nazism.
You can't compare Nazis to communists. It's like the horseshoe theory, because communists tried to defeat Nazis. Nazis killed communists because communism is the opposite of fascism.
Reason number one, there is, simply put, widespread ignorance of the communist record.
So this is funny because PragerU started when this guy, Dennis Prager, who, this has just been brought to my attention, has written articles about why marital rape should not be a crime. Dennis, I should be allowed to rape my wife, Prager, created Prager University when he got frustrated that every single college in America is teaching like the right things, because the more educated you become, the more left you start leaning. So he got so frustrated that people were learning the truth through academia, and also not really the truth, because like you didn't find anyone teaching Marxism or any other form of economic like methods or economic structures. But he was just so angry that, I don't know, people liked gay people and like wanted them to not die. I don't know, honestly. But Dennis probably wants a white ethno-state. Prager thinks that his knowledge supersedes every single academic institution in America. And now he's making the claim that there's a widespread ignorance of the communist record.
Whereas both right and left loathe Nazism and teach its evil history, the left...
The right does not loathe Nazis.
And I'm talking about the left, not traditional liberals, like Harry Truman or John F. Kennedy, has never loathed communism. And since the left dominates academia...
Source? Richard Wolff, who's the biggest and one of the only real Marxist professors who teaches economics at university. Actually, I don't remember where he teaches. Claimed and pointed out his frustration in the fact that professors were too afraid to mention communism and to mention Marxist theories because they would be imprisoned. So saying that the academia is run by the left is true in the sense that what I just said, the more educated you get, the farther left you go, but inherently false, because there were campaigns to arrest teachers and professors who were advocating or even teaching socialism. And even in school, my debate coach, like yesterday, said something equated like authoritarianism to communism, which if she lingered on it longer, I would have tried to correct her, but she got off the topic real quick.
Almost no one teaches communism's evil history.
That's not true. They do. Like, I learned it and then I had to relearn it.
Reason number two.
Like, that's just not true. There's no proof that people don't learn the bad parts about communism and about Stalin.
The Nazis carried out the Holocaust.
True.
Nothing matches the Holocaust for pure evil. The rounding up of virtually every Jewish man, woman, child, and baby
Communists
on the European continent and sending them to die is unprecedented and unparalleled.
Except he's about to make a parallel to communism.
Communists killed far more people than the Nazis, but never matched the Holocaust in the systemization of genocide. The uniqueness of the Holocaust...
Except communism didn't kill people. It was a big it was a result of a just a country who just fought a war and then was being forced into more wars, and regardless of all that, they still managed to maintain where'd I go? They still managed to maintain very low child mortality rates, very high literacy rates. There's many people who claim that their life was better under Soviet rule. Wild. The only real issue is that you couldn't oppose your government, which is granted a real issue.
Ensure that Nazism has a worse name than communism. Reason number 3. Communism is based on nice-sounding theories. Nazism isn't.
That's not true. Nazis also advocated for socially democratic reforms. So they did take the nice language of communism, which, if followed correctly, will lead to nice things for everyone, spun it, tried to make it represent their beliefs, and then killed everyone.
Based on heinous-sounding theories.
That's not true.
Intellectuals in general, including, of course, the intellectuals who write history, are seduced by words, so much so that they deem actions as less significant than words. For that reason, they haven't focused nearly as much attention on the horrific acts.
He just said it himself in the beginning that the actions and the systematic killing of Jews is unparalleled. He just said that. So yeah, no shit. You would weigh these actions more than the communist actions, which didn't exist to the same extent and also weren't as systematic.
Actions of communists as they have on the horrific actions of the Nazis. They dismiss the evils of
communism is based.
Communists as perversions of true communism. They dismiss the evils of communists as perversions of true communism.
Yeah, that's true. That is just objectively true. Even Karl Marx is nah, dude, the fuck these goddamn communists in Germany, they're kind of ruining it for everyone else because they're undermining what communism really is, and you know.
Communism, but they regard Nazi atrocities correctly as the logical and inevitable results of Nazism.
Yeah. So fascists need a hierarchy, right? Currently, so does, the free market capitalist society also requires hierarchy. But the difference is once capitalism falls into fascism, inevitably, like it is happening right here in America, the poor economic stability of a country, the discontent between its citizens leads to a rise in fascism. And Trump is not a good fascistic leader by any means. He just feeds off his base and feeds into his base. So it is quite
of Nazism.
It's very dumb to say that the inevitable outcome of communism is this horrendous 20 million people died in Soviet Union compared to the required result of fascism being eradicating as many groups as possible until you're the only remaining one. They literally idolize these flowy bearded Viking men who were powerful and the pure Aryan race and wanted the world to be like that, and were disgusted by brown people and disgusted by Jews leading, owning businesses and whatnot.
Reason number 4.
I feel like I honestly don't know that much about Leninism.
Germans have
this is going to be a yikes for me.
Thoroughly exposed the evils of Nazism.
All news is biased. You won't have any media that isn't biased. It's impossible to have unbiased media.
Taken responsibility for them and have attempted to atone for them. Russians
Wait, what?
thoroughly clearly exposed the evils of Nazism, have taken responsibility for them, and have attempted to
That's true to some extent. Though there's still a large far-right party in Germany.
atone for them.
You pay TV license as tax once per year. Yeah, except that that tax goes to the current party running the government. Are you talking to the BBC? Because I want to show you a video after.
Russians have not done anything similar regarding Lenin's or Stalin's horrors. To the contrary, Lenin, the father of Soviet communism, is still widely venerated in.
I mean, yeah. Hold up. I'm really I want to find this video because it's very, very nice. The Myth of Free Press.
Right, new.
This is like a long ass video, so I don't want to play it. But Ali, watch this video. You don't need to be explicitly biased to be a biased channel. Any way you present data, like even just saying an officer involved shooting is biased and gives the and it's considered neutral, but it gives the officer kind of like an air of validity. Yeah, watch this video. It's very, very interesting when you have the time.
Russia. And as regards Stalin,
yeah, because like Lenin did stuff to help people.
As University of London Russian historian Donald Rayfield puts it, quote, people still deny, by assertion or implication, Stalin's Holocaust, unquote.
People still deny the Nazi Holocaust. Yeah, no, I agree, but look into it because any media is biased, and BBC is a lot more biased to in favor of the state than I think people would like. The BBC played a large part in controlling in promoting Brexit.
Even less so as
just through like dehumanization of immigrants, who they allowed to speak, you know.
China exposed the greatest mass murderer and enslaver of them all, Mao Zedong.
Oh my God.
Mao remains revered in China. Every Chinese currency note has his picture on it.
Based.
Until Russia and China and Vietnam and Cuba and North Korea acknowledge the evils their countries committed under communism, communism's evils will remain less known than the evils of the German.
It's because what? It's like this is so sad.
Under Hitler. Reason number 5. Communists murdered mostly their own people. The Nazis, on the other hand, killed very few fellow Germans. World opinion.
Yikes, dude.
That largely meaningless and
bad take.
Moral term deems the murder of members of one's own group far less noteworthy.
Like he's so mad about this.
Than the murder of outsiders. That's why, for example, blacks killing millions of blacks in Africa elicits almost no attention from world opinion.
Oh my God. He basically just did like the what about black on black crime? He literally did the black on black crime meme. Oh my God, dude, you're so dumb. You know why? Because like that's not what the fuck. Oh man.
And reason number 6. In the view of the left, the last good war was World War II, the war against German Nazism.
Oh yeah, 100%, 110%. You cannot deny this.
Fascism.
This is the last time we actually fought for freedom.
The left does not regard wars against communist regimes as good wars.
No, they're a waste of money and a waste of life. Do you know how many people died because we were so butthurt about communism? Do you know how many people died under American dictators that we implemented through coups?
For example, Do
you know how many people died because we commodified water?
The American war against Vietnamese communism is regarded as immoral.
Yeah, you just like burnt civilians alive. Duh.
And the war against Korean communism and its Chinese communist backers is simply ignored.
But no, people learn about the Korean War.
Until the left and all the institutions in.
What the fuck happened?
This is Senate Majority Leader Mitch
Ew.
McConnell.
Ew.
I'm Senator Lindsey Graham.
What did I just click on?
Contributor, former South Carolina Congressman.
What the fuck? Anyways, I think that wraps it up. I hate PragerU so much. Yeah, no shit. It's like people don't talk about people in Africa killing other Africans because people also don't talk about people in America killing Americans. But also we do. Like the Sudan Civil War, like that got world attention. All those fucking genocides in Africa, that got world attention and intervention. Like, what is the point, dude? It's so dumb. They're so stupid. By people, I mean only conservatives. Oh boy. Oh boy. Do you guys have anything else you want me to look at? What is this? All I want to do is make cookies.
I own a small business with 7 employees. We make cookies. Not just any cookies. We make sugar-free cookies that diabetics can eat. Actually, they're so tasty, anyone can enjoy that.
Nice. I'm so interested to see where this goes.
That was the inspiration that motivated me.
Actually, I don't think diabetics should be able to eat. I don't think diabetics should have the same rights. Can I be conservative now?
To start this business. You see,
This guy's like adorable.
Myself. I have been one my whole life. If you think running a cookie company is fun and games, think again.
I don't think running a cookie company is fun and games.
I work 100 hours a week, which isn't unusual for small business owners. I make a nice living, but I'm not in it for the money. I love what I do. I'd better. My margins are very tight, around 1%. That means I have to sell $1 million worth of cookies to make $10,000. Every penny counts, literally. That's why I get so frustrated with government regulations.
You know what this guy would be a big supporter of? He would really like socialism. He would really, really benefit under socialism. Like, oh so much. Very, very much. I'm sad he doesn't see that. It's capitalism that's killing his country. Or not his country, sorry, his cookie store. It's not regulations. It's the fact that there's probably a very large company that is making also sugar-free cookies that can just buy warehouses and set up stores and, hire more people and make more money and cut their salaries and make more money and make shittier cookies and make more money and then buy your cookie company. Or instead of buying your cookie company, just set one up next to your cookie company and make cheaper cookies.
Every penny counts, literally. Some regulations are necessary, especially for obvious reasons in the food industry.
But you know how many conservatives were opposed to the FDA? And how many capitalists were opposed to the creation of the FDA because they exposed and drew attention to the horrific conditions in meat in the meat packing industry and in downtown New York.
Necessary and excessive are two entirely different things.
True.
Excessive, unnecessary regulations soak up valuable hours of my time and my money for no good purpose. That 100 hours I work per week, I estimate 36 of them are spent on compliance issues alone. This keeps me away from activities that would help me grow my business, like sales and product development. And that,
you know what he'd really like? Socialism.
Keeps me away from hiring more people.
You would really like socialism a lot.
My employees are like family to me. It's that way with most small businesses, but it's a struggle every single day. I could be more productive and feel a lot less anxiety if I didn't have to fight my own government. Or should I say governments, federal, state, and local. I get the roads and the bridges of the national defense, but I don't get why they have to be involved in every tiny...
Why does the government need to be involved in safety and laws and food and permits and wages and income and food and exits?
Aspect of my...
Oh, like exit signs, so like people don't burn to death. Exit signs again. And chairs! Oh, God. The government, stop making me make so many chairs. I'm sorry. The chairs, I'm sorry, they're not as tall as you need them to be.
My business.
And locks and handicapped accessibility. Oh, the government's making it so I have to build ramps to my cookie store for diabetics. Oh God, these diabetics who can't have sugar in their cookies and also need a ramp to get into my store because they're diabetics and probably, depending on what type of diabetes you have, are struggling to walk on their own and need the assistance of a wheelchair. But oh God, I need to build a ramp.
Sometimes competing with...
Yeah, instead of us spending money on exit signs, can't we just let the free markets figure out who gets to leave and who doesn't?
Each other.
It says doors. Yeah, I don't know that one.
As to who can make my life more difficult. For example, as a bakery, I'm under the jurisdiction of the Food and Drug Administration, FDA. The Department of Agriculture.
The FDA won't let me put cocaine in my Coca-Cola, and now people are no longer addicted to it. I hate the FDA so much. Oh, the FDA made it so I can't. I need to compensate my workers when they cut their hands off in the giant meat packing machines.
Agriculture and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. I also have to deal with the State Health Agency. They all have different rules. If these rules contradict one another, it's not their problem, it's mine. A few years ago, the FDA inspector showed up for one of his random inspections. He noticed the door to the area in which we bake our cookies swung out as you walked in. He told me that was a code violation.
Dude, if someone was walking and they got slammed by the door and broke their fucking nose, they would sue you and you wouldn't have money and you would die because you're poor and you can't survive if you're poor. And you also couldn't afford insulin. So, yeah, fuck you, I guess. Dude, literally just turn the hinges around, okay? Like, this is to make you so you're not liable for lawsuits. Oh, man. Like, that's where these codes come from. Like, I'm not sure if this is an actual code, but, like, remember that bitch who was given, like, a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and it spilled on her and it was hot and she got burnt from it, so then she sued because it didn't say caution hot? Like, yeah, common sense is, like, the coffee must be hot, don't spill it. Or McDonald's coffee, actually. But she sued McDonald's and won. That's why codes exist, and if you violate them, you're likely going to be sued if you cause damage.
The doors have to swing in.
Yep.
I had 30 days to fix it or I'd be fined
Turn the hinges around.
thousands of dollars. I should note we have an air curtain between both rooms, so no food particles can get in or out of the baking area. I pointed this out. The inspector was unmoved. A few months later, the inspector from the Ag Department shows up for one of his random inspections. He notices that the door swings in. Yes, I tell him, it does. It's an FDA regulation. No, he tells me, it has to swing out. Fix it within 30 days, he says, or you'll be fined. I started keeping 2 sets of doors. One that swings in for the FDA, and one that swings out for the Ag Department.
That's funny as fuck. Just get a sliding door, bro. Just get a sliding door.
Here's another example. The FDA requires bakeries to send a sample of every product batch to a third-party lab for testing. We make 36 batches a day. That means we have to send...
Yeah, I didn't realize the doors were such a big issue.
36 bags of cookies every day to that lab.
See, again, the issue isn't with the regulations. Your issue is with capitalism, right? Because if you're a huge company, or if a huge company bought you out, it would be so much easier for them to throw your bags of cookies with their other cookies for their other companies that they own and send them to the lab. You wouldn't be paying out of pocket. You would. Oh man, you don't like capitalism. That's your issue, bro.
This costs me tens of thousands of dollars every year.
Like, your issues with capitalism. You're a petty bourgeois.
And remember, in order to make $10,000, I have to...
Like, you're not... Like, you're still at the foot. You're still under the boot. Of every huge capitalist in this country who just wants you to make it just enough so you feel like you did something and then end your fucking life.
To sell $1 million in cookies. We've never had a bad test. Hardly surprising, making cookies isn't that complex. The ingredients are well known and safe. I'm all for testing, but how about 1 bag out of every 10 batches? That alone might double my profit margin to 2%. One more example. The government demands that the type on my packaging be a certain size. Fine. I hired a company that does this sort of work to do the printing. The inspector gets out his magnifying glass and decides the font is off by 1/100th of an inch.
This guy's just mad.
All the packaging has to be trashed and a whole new set ordered. That cost me $15,000 or $1.5 million in cookies to make that money back. Another time, we didn't include the word coconut in the allergy section of the package. We didn't think it was necessary as these were coconut cookies. All that packaging had to be redone too.
That's funny.
That cost me $68,000.
Like, it sucks for this guy, honestly. Dude, my audio's here. My audio works. Like, it genuinely sucks for these people.
Dollars or 6.8 million.
Sorry, it was quiet. Petty bourgeois. Yeah. Bourgeoisie. Like, it genuinely sucks because he's, like, getting fucked over by capitalism and believing that, like, free market, like, anarcho fucking capitalism will save him is so incorrect.
$1 million worth of cookies to make that money back. I could go on. So could anyone who owns a small business. But you get the idea. Small businesses are responsible for 60 million jobs. We could be responsible for a lot more if the politicians who pass these laws and the bureaucrats who enforce them would back off. Common sense regulation, I'm all for it. Excessive, unnecessary, wasteful regulation, I need to get back to work. I'm Joseph Semprevivo, president of Joseph's Light Cookies for Prager University.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I did not mean to. I love how every comment on PragerU is like a goddamn quote. A CEO who doesn't care about profits is a bad CEO. Yikes. I feel like they are. Yeah, these people really just have a problem with capitalism and they don't know it. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I'm tired as fuck. That was fun. I really hope we don't fall into fascism too fast. Remember, please vote. Please help people vote. The only way we can save this really is if it's clear on November 3rd that Biden is winning the election. So, you know. All right. Please vote again when we flee the country. I'm really dependent on what my family plans on doing because we are technically Italian citizens, so we could. I'd feel shitty though. I'd feel so bad, just like, you know. I hope we don't have to. I don't want to. Because I like my life here, and I feel like I should be, I feel like I should not just let it fall, you know. All right. Peace out, guys.